Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Sweet. Daniel driving the Jasper Keys Pro-Am podiuming 350Z, LS 350Z here in this comp. Gosh, that is going to be a car to contend with today. Daniel Hendricks, not unfamiliar to the podium here at Drift Colorado Group B, and now in an amazingly set up car, loaned to him by his buddy Kevin. If you're just tuning in here, please bear with us. We have a couple of cameras to get set up, and we are getting the comp all set up. We're going to be getting the drivers out on grid shortly here. As you can see here, our gracious host, Levi Waite, the Drift Doctor, coming through the course, making sure everything is perfect for our Group B drivers, but his lap certainly isn't. Levi, we need to see you deeper in outer zone 2 if you're going to show us how to ball. But Levi is doing a good job of making a smoke cloud roll over us here in that newly built LS-powered E36. Coming back up to the line here. We'll get ready for a competition to start very shortly. Guys, if you are just tuning in here, we are getting ready for Colorado, Drift Colorado, round 4 here at PPIR, Pikes Peak International Raceway. Want to thank everybody who is in the live stream waiting for us to stop here. We are getting ready for some Group B action. These are our street cars. No crash bars allowed, or only factory crash bars allowed. No bash bars. No cages required in this one. These are a lot simpler built cars. Lots of very simple BMWs, simple Corvette builds. Couple of swapped cars out here, but nothing too crazy. We do have a couple of JZs and LSs in the field. But overall, going to be a great competition here. Really excited to see how this stacks up. We have an absolutely stacked field. A couple of bye runs in the first round, but after that, we have a stacked competition. Looking forward to see some of these drivers, who are really progressing this year. I see a lot of drivers in the crowd who have every opportunity to take the win here. A couple of crowd favorites as well. Leader in our point series currently for Group B, I believe, is Mike in his JZ Cressida. Solid rear axle hasn't stopped him. He got some help from Brandon from Missile Works getting that thing dialed in for this event. Looking fast, looking sharp. Seen a couple of other cars out there that I'm really liking. Looking forward to watching. We got a couple of people to shout out before we get started. After Hours Auto House, they are helping us out with this whole program. We also have 3 Series Auto Parts, Spring Tire and Auto, and of course Big Nick's Automotive, our vet boys out there over up in Denver. Thanks so much for supporting the stream. Thanks for everybody out here at PPR, all the employees, all the volunteers, all the people working for Drift Colorado who are helping us make this thing happen. Other than that, we're going to continue to get the start line set up, get everything ready to go, and hopefully you guys can tune in with us sometime in the next 10 to 20 minutes, and we'll be all ready to set up. Anybody who is streaming in at home, tuned in on the couch, in the garage, working on stuff, thank you so much for joining us. We have about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to go before we get this competition rocking and rolling. Make sure you stay tuned for these top 32 battles. See your friends battling it out here in Colorado, Drift Colorado, Group B, here at PPIR. We are rocking and rolling here at PPIR. Levi's doing a quick little drivers meeting over with all of our cars staged up. Plenty of vehicles here getting ready to run at this course that it's the same as the Pro-Am course here. If we want to go through it real quick, we have an Outer Zone 1, then they come around through the trailer, coming into Outer Zone 2 here right in front of the judges booth, and then Outer Zone 3, which is going to be kind of a long zone, especially for some of these lower horsepower cars, but we really want to make sure that they get all the way to the outside of the track so we can see some exciting tandems today. This is then they're going to have one touch and go, and the only difference between the Pro-Am track and this Pro-Am, or in this Group B track here, the finish line is a little bit pushed up just to make sure we don't have too much confusion for the drivers and too much for the drivers to be doing. Other than that, though, exciting track, fast track, something's definitely going to be challenging for some of these drivers, especially with lower horsepower. It's a hot one out here today, 100-something degrees out, more than likely, probably 110 on the asphalt. These drivers, luckily, with their lower horsepower cars, are not going to have to be changing tires as much as we saw in the Pro-Am series. A lot of these cars, sub 200, sub 300 horsepower, especially BMWs and the stock VQZs. So definitely going to be an interesting matchup here. We have tons of familiar names that you may have seen if you've caught the stream previously. We've got some BMWs such as Zach Whipple, Noah Escalante. We've got a couple of Corvettes, Robert Izzo, and a couple of C6s out there joining him as well. We've got Jake Romero, Ethan Hunter representing Pueblo out here. We got a JZ SC300. We've got Ethan in his Camaro. Always a fun one to watch, not a fun one to talk to. And then, of course, we got Daniel Hendricks. He is driving Kevin's 350Z. Kevin's 350Z took second place in Pro-Am. I believe they have it on a slightly different tire, and they unfortunately, Daniel's car is not up. His backup car also broke just before in practice, so he must have some friends in high places to be driving a Pro-Am capable car here in Group B. Interesting to see how it deals with driving behind slow cars, and that's one of the best things about Group B is not only do you have to have a car that's set up, that's fast, that's gripped up to be able to be competitive, but also you need to understand that you could go up against a stock Miata with 85 horsepower that's going to be in front of you running through this course. So if your car is too fast, it can be a detriment. It levels the playing field for us just a little bit, but obviously something that we are going to want to see the closest tandems possible, as our judges here have talked about in the drivers meeting. The main thing that we are going for is going to be good proximity, good line out of the lead drivers. This is not going to be judged as heavily, as far as mistakes and stuff go, as Pro-Am. These are our beginner drivers, people who are just starting out in competition. So we want to give them the ability to move on. If we see something exciting, if we see some awesome lines out of people, we want to keep them going here. And, little bobbles are not going to be graded as heavily as they maybe would be in Pro-Am. This is something where we want to see all of these drivers throwing down their absolute best laps, but we can see perfection here in Group B, and we see it time and time again with these Group B drivers impressing all of the judges, showing off their skills, whether they're in a Pro-Am capable car or they're in a car that they built in their garage with a bone stock motor. They are still out here absolutely ripping. Everyone's killing it. Everyone's having a good time. This is the most exciting competition of the weekend, in my opinion, so let's make sure that we get out here. We got, actually, Kevin, whose car is being driven in the booth right now. Kevin, did you make any changes to the car for Daniel to drive it? Is it on a less sticky tire, or are you guys just sending it how it is?
Actually, no. The only thing we did was put a pad on the seat because I'm 9 feet tall and he couldn't see over the dash. So we just stacked some blankets and sent him on his way. He put on some Pergias that he brought, which are pretty comparable, probably a better tire than the Zek Nova, but I just gave him the car. Everything else is up to him.
I was talking earlier, kind of before the stream started, about he must have some friends in high places being able to drive a car of that caliber, but a car that should still be able to be, competitive and on a fairly even playing field with a lot of these cars that are out here. Obviously, you wheeled that thing to success in the Pro-Am event, but with what I would consider an undergun car compared to the competition, what's the setup under the hood? I assume it's LS based on the sound.
Correct, yeah. It's a 6-liter iron block with 6.2 square port heads. We actually just dynoed it about a week ago. It made 394 and 412 torque, so it is extremely underdog for what it was. I think the success from it actually came from having the low horsepower because it wasn't lighting the tires off and it was allowed to grip itself up, where a lot of other cars were struggling with lighting the tires off and not pulling grip and not being able to keep up with another car. So I think we found success in that, that window that you want to find.
Yeah, definitely important to be able to manage that. Letting the tires get as much traction as they can while still sliding can actually help you get a little bit faster. Now, something we talked about earlier today, or kind of before you got here, was the fact that he could draw a stock Miata first round, and that's going to be hard, in such a high horsepower, such a high level car. It's one of the nicest things about Group B. Like you said, only in the 300 horsepower range, so not the most horsepower of a car that we have out here. I believe that title is held by Jacob Romero and his JZ SC300, which is a much heavier car than a lot of the competition too. So something where Group B kind of has its own checks and balances, with just the fact that you could draw somebody who's going to be doing 20 mile an hour slower than you through the whole course, and if your car is absolutely set up to the gills to try to run away from people, it can be a big hindrance when you get behind someone and you need to be chasing behind someone quickly. That's something that we talked about in the drivers meeting. I want to see everybody doing active chases, everybody staying close to that lead car on the same line as the lead car. If you're just doing a lead lap 4 cars behind the lead driver, I really want to see you get sucked up there. So we've been telling them that since the drivers meeting. It's going to be exciting to see all of these people pushing the limits, pushing the envelope. You got any other boys out there besides Daniel who are running today?
I think James and Max are sharing an E36 M3 right now, so that should be pretty fun. Very, very fun, mild powered car, good angle. It'll be really fun. And touching back on like the higher horsepower, higher grip car, I think it makes it fun when you follow a slower car because it brings out the driver in you. You got to be able to adapt on the fly behind someone and be able to keep the car in drift, slow it down, and just stay there. So I personally like it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, kind of two different perspectives. As last year, I was always the person with low horsepower, but that same thing that you talked about in Pro-Am definitely comes into play. Sometimes when you're able to just have that wheel speed versus the vehicle's actual speed be a little bit lower, we have you can actually get a lot of forward bite and grip out of the car when those wheels are working their hardest to spin, rather than just blowing the doors off of it. I know my new car, it'll hit limiter from 3,000 on. It just does not have that kind of pickup that my other car did, and something we're working on. But super exciting to have you up here in the booth with us. I appreciate you talking with us for a sec. Well, I'm going to radio back to Levi real quick, see exactly what we're doing to get this started and get this show on the road. You good? Alrighty, welcome back, Drift fans, to Drift Colorado, round 4 here at Pikes Peak International Raceway, Fountain, California. We have our first battle pulled up to the line, and we are ready. Anyways, Fountain, Colorado. I was talking about California earlier. Too bad. Yeah. Anyways, we have Zach Whipple here on the line. One of my homies, somebody I'm going to be yelling at extra tough. So if you're just tuning in to the live and you're not ready for me to bully my friends, please do be patient with me as I talk some shit on them. But we are going to be starting this. I wanted to thank all of our sponsors first and foremost. We have After Hours Autosports making this Formula Drift Pro-Am program possible. We also have 3 Series Auto Parts, one of Drift Dr. Levi's escapades there, as well as Big Nick's Auto up there in Denver if you need for all of your auto needs, and Springs Tire and Auto down here in the Springs. If you need rubber on some wheels to go drifting or just for your daily driver, make sure you check them out. We have Zach Whipple at the line. I believe it's Max Bontrager in that shared car that Kevin was talking about earlier. So shared E36 with James Ford. They're doing double duty in that vehicle, something you can do in Group B, which is awesome because they really don't go through too many tires. So we are going to be watching them get ready and pull up to the line. It looks like Zach is going to be chasing first. We are going to have Max on the line giving us a sweet lead for Zach to follow. Excited to get kicked off with this Group B competition. Again, if you weren't in here too much earlier, we have street cars here in Group B. This is no aftermarket crash bars. They have to have factory crash systems to make sure that they're as safe as possible because these people are tandeming without cages here, so something where they have to be a little extra careful because of that as far as the safety equipment. But this is low-powered cars. Generally, the highest horsepower we'll see out here is in the 300s, potentially up into the 400s if it's a heavy vehicle. Couple of the hitters out here in E36 is always cars that do good. Zach Whipple, a very consistent lead driver and has been working on his chases all year. We have Max, who has not been out too much recently as far as competitions. However, has been putting down some heater laps this weekend, so something we're looking forward to see. We're waiting to get the clear to send from the line, and we're going to get ready to go here. Here we go. We've got that clear to send from the start line. We are ready to let them rip. Max Bontrager in that E36 M3 leading Zach Whipple in another E36 M3. Spy versus Spy here. Black and white E36 as they rip into the first corner, and Zach is way behind Max on this entry. I wonder if he can do anything to be able to catch up as he does close some ground coming through this first corner here. Max with a little bit of a bobble on that transition, not getting into outer zone 2, unfortunately. Transition in front of Zach. Now Zach is finally pulling some angle out of the car to catch him. It looks like Max is doing everything he can do to potentially run away from Zach. They are way slow, and it looks like both of them have straightened coming into our fourth touch and go as they come through the line, trying everything they can to keep both of those cars with pretty low horsepower sideways coming through those sections. Definitely something where the judges are going to have to look at potentially what the lead car was doing that could have affected the chase position there. Here we go. We are going to Zach leading, Max giving chase. Zach Whipple in that white E36, Max in that black E36, both M3s, both with questionable power plants and questionable aesthetics. Looks like Max goes completely straight, unfortunately, behind Zach. Zach doing a good job to try to get out to 2, but doesn't quite get there. Zach coming through to outer zone 3. Make sure he's all the way out. He is way off on outer zone 3. One tire off for sure. We'll have to check the replay, but giving Max plenty of room as they come through this final touch and go coming across the line. It looks like Zach was able to open up that door almost too much for him, but got way wide into 3, dipped at least one tire off. The judges are going to have to deliberate this decision as far as how far off Zach was compared to how far off Max was in that lead versus lead. Chase versus chase, we had a serious issue from Max in the chase position there in that first turn 1. And then unfortunately, like we see here, Zach going quite a bit wide, dropping at least one tire off. Getting the deliberation for the judges, which include myself, so I can give you guys an update right away. We have Zach in that white M3 getting the win. That means James Ford is going to be able to pilot this car for the rest of the competition as far as he makes it. Coming up to the line now, we are going to have Corey Merchant, another one of these E36 on E36 battles. Corey Merchant, Stainless Jeeper on Instagram, great fab guy here in the Springs, great homie of mine, so I got to make sure I'm not biased. But he has been absolutely putting it down all day, trying to go as fast as possible, as fast as that little M50 will let him, S50, whatever is in that car. We've got Corey Merchant leading James Ford, one of our Group A competitors, ready at the line. They are clear to send. I got the clear to send from the judges and the start line. Here we go. Corey Merchant takes off the line in that stainless steel, black, white, every color E36. Gaps James Ford off the line by a little bit, but James Ford able to initiate right there with him, staying pretty close through outer zone 1. We're going to love to see how deep Corey got into outer zone 1. As we come through here to outer zone 2 under the trailer, Corey Merchant is a little bit off of zone 2 where we would like him to be, but how can he clean it up in zone 3? Does an amazing job of getting into zone 3. That's exactly what we want to see right there. And James Ford not being shaken, has to adjust his line a little bit behind Corey. Corey dirt drops at least one tire on the outer, but keeps it together. We're going to have to take a look at the replay to see how many tires went off on that one. Corey's going to do a quick cool down lap as we take a look at these replays, and then we'll pull back up to the line. So we are now deliberating exactly what happened there between Corey Merchant and James Ford. Looks like we may have had a straighten from James Ford in the chase coming under that trailer. That is a difficult section for these drivers with lower power to work with, but we did have 2 tires off from Corey Merchant. Definitely excited to see what the latter half of this battle looks like, what the lead versus chase, chase versus chase comes down to. Both of these drivers, accomplished drivers, both of these drivers, people who know this course. PPR is close to their home track for both of them. You know, James Ford in an E36 that he doesn't know as well, unfortunately had that straighten under the trailer, which is going to weigh fairly heavily on him. And here we go. We're going to be off with James Ford leading Corey Merchant. Corey Merchant staying right there with him on the run up to the entry. Here we go. Both of them flicking it in. Corey Merchant with, James Ford unfortunately goes all the way around. Corey Merchant's going to be doing a little bit of a victory lap here for us. Let's see if he can get it out to outer zone 2 this time. Still can't, but unfortunately he had a bit of a contention to deal with on turn 1 as he runs right past us uncontested. James Ford and Max, who were splitting that car, unfortunately unable to continue. Bummer to see, but here comes James Ford. He's making sure he gets out to that outer zone 2. James Ford is coming back around, not going to stop his lap quite yet. Unfortunately had a accident with his blue C6 that we saw here last time in practice. Shattered a window, door wouldn't close. Unsure how much worse it was than what I could just see on the outside. But obviously he is not driving his car, and that could have definitely affected him on that entry. So here we go. We have a unanimous decision from the judges that Corey Merchant is going to be taking the win here. Corey Merchant in that stainless white and black E36 handed the win from James Ford. Unfortunate to see. We would love to see some tighter battles as this competition continues. But that means that 2 friends now turned enemies, Zach Whipple and Corey Merchant, in very, very similarly set up cars, are going to go head-to-head in our top 16. Here we go. We got Chris Kobus leading Alex Augustine at the line. We have a 350Z leading an E46. Very excited to see exactly how this is going to go for them. Making sure one of our people here up in the booth who was helping us out, Kevin, is on track. He's making sure that we can get the best information from out there with our limited cameras that we have today. But here we go, Chris Kobus heading towards the entry in that 350Z. Alex in that cream E46 right behind him. They are both coming under the trailer. Unfortunately, the E46 gets quite a bit of a gap that he's going to have to make up. Looks like he's potentially straightened under the trailer to make up that gap. Chris Kobus doing an amazing job in outer zone 2, but not carrying too much speed. As we come through to outer zone 3, Chris Kobus fills the first half of the zone. Unfortunately, comes out a little bit early. Alex finally starting to make up some ground, but is it too little too late as Chris Kobus goes through that touch and go on the outside of turn 4 and comes through the finish. Definitely looks like it will be a deficit for that E46. Just could not stay with him at the run-up before the entry. And here we go. We are running them once again. Alex in the lead this time. Chris Kobus in the chase. Alex with a faint initiation. Chris Kobus pulls e-brake right behind him. Chris Kobus potentially straightened right there. We're going to have to take a look at that replay for sure. A hard place for the judges to see what angle is looking like. But Alex coming out to this outer zone 2 does an amazing job of filling it. Comes through to outer zone 3 way too wide. 3 tires off track as he comes into outer zone 3 and comes out of it a little bit early. Not the line that we would like to see. Chris doing everything he can in that chase position to not straighten the car out. Very unfortunate for Chris that he may have had a bobble there. Shuts it down a little early right before the finish, but I think we are going to let that one slide. We're going to have to take a look at some replays here for a second while you watch it with us. See exactly what may have happened with Chris in this chase position. Here we go. Yeah, the one. Yep. Alrighty, we have a decision unanimously from the judges. We are going to give Chris Kobus in that 350Z the win. He had a good lead line and unfortunately was a little choked up by some of the E46 antics that were going on in front of him, but did a good job of managing it. So we are going to make sure that we get the line ready, as we have two people that I know, who one of them is near and dear to my heart. We've got Max Pennington on the line in that gross yellow 350Z. We've got Noah Escalante in an equally gross but much cooler 318 Ti M50 Turbo E30 rear suspension. Let's see how we can handle a Z here. Here we go. Max Pennington takes off the line. A little bit of turbo lag from Noah here as he waits quite a bit to initiate. Unfortunately, Max Pennington is going to have a huge gap coming up through this first turn, but that BMW starting to turn on the jets now as Max comes way inside, and unfortunately Noah Escalante is going to be spinning out. He definitely did not have the best line to follow through there, but unfortunately Noah spins out quite a bit further behind him. I look forward to see what Noah may be able to do in the lead to see exactly what could happen here, but unfortunately my buddy Noah there going to be at a bit of a deficit to Max Pennington. And here we go. We've got Noah Escalante taking off the line. Max Pennington in that 350Z, yellow right behind him. Noah with a big flick into the first corner, letting that turbo light off in third gear. Here we go as he comes under the trailer. I'm liking this line from Noah. Max just hanging back, knows exactly what he has to do to get the win in this one. Obviously, no mistakes will help him out. Noah does a great job getting into outer zone 2 as he comes through outer zone 3 on a good line here. He is absolutely singing on the limiter right now. A little bit of an e-brake checkup from Noah to make sure he's out into the zone. Little three-wheel action as he dips into my grass. Here we go into the fourth touch and go. Noah is exciting to watch on that lap, but unfortunately had a big mistake in the previous one. And that was a pretty easy one for us judges here, but it is always difficult standing in the sun judging all your homies. Max Pennington is going to get the win in that battle just because of Noah's spin out there and lack of proximity at the start. So we really want to see some tighter action in the chase. That's one thing that all of the judges were talking about in the drivers meeting, making sure that we have exciting battles to show you guys, and we're going to be rewarding that heavily. Looks like we have a buy run potentially going out here. This is going to be Jacob Romero? It looks like we have a little bit of confusion from the start line trying to see who exactly is piloting this SN95 Mustang as he comes around. It does not appear that that is Jacob Romero, who we had on our bracket, but we'll have to double check and see. It looks like that's Blake Vigil spinning out in his buy run. We talked a little bit earlier jokingly about losing your buy run. That's one way to do it. Blake going to finish out the rest of this course, and we are going to get ready for our next battle, which looks like it is going to be Brian Kraft versus Luis Valesco. G versus Z violence. VQ noises will ensue. Here we go. We got the clear to send from the judges and from the start line. Getting ready to go here in this fountain heat. Here we go. We have Luis Valesco leading Brian Kraft in that blue 350Z. Purple and red G35 is going to be initiating here as he comes through this first zone. We are going to show you guys how deep they got into the zone. Looks like Luis is doing a good job of filling that whole zone as he comes through potentially a straighten or at least a little bobble as he comes into outer zone 2 under the trailer. Coming through to outer zone 3, he is pushing it out. He's doing a good job of getting just a touch of that zone. Brian Kraft on his own little line in his own little world right behind him, but staying where he needs to be within an active chase. Both of them with clean lines through the rest of the course. Unfortunately, going to have to take a look as a judge at the potential bobble and straighten and mistake, and also the lack of deepness in the zones after zone 1. With a great zone 1, it is pretty easy to set yourself up for zone 2 and 3, but mistakes still can be made that will really choke up your run. Brian Kraft doing a good job of staying just a car or two back the entire lap, making sure he's in contention, but not getting in the way. Here we go, Brian Kraft on his lead lap. Let's see what he can do to answer. We have Luis Velasco giving chase. They both initiate right there at that initiation cone as they come through to the first outer zone 1 coming under the trailer. They are going to be popping back out. It looks like Luis Velasco potentially with a straighten behind Brian Kraft, but Brian Kraft carrying a cone with him as he comes through outer zone 2, dumps it off at outer zone 2, comes back to the outer zone 3. Here we go. He is going to be filling all of outer zone 3 there. We have, unfortunately, another straighten from Luis Velasco behind him. Brian Kraft finishing out the run very cleanly as they come through. We're going to have to check out a replay to see what happened on that first corner. They could have led Brian Kraft to drag a cone all the way to outer zone 2. Doing our best with our replays here. This one is going to have to go to a decision. We may have Mike in his Cressida with a bye run be running while we deliberate from this previous battle. They are going to be sending Cressida Mike through here just for a bye run while we still deliberate on our previous decision. This is going to be an easy one. We know that Mike is an absolute killer. He won't lose his bye run and spin out. Mike doing an excellent job filling all of zone 3. Little bit of a tire tap. Knocks over one of our cones. We're going to have to get Kevin, our boy, to shag one of those cones for us. But doing a great job coming through as we deliberate this previous decision. We have Alex leading Josh, pulling to the line here. They are going to get ready to go and do battle. That blue E46 of Alex giving chase. One of the E46 homies here with us. Let's see if we can get them the clear descent and it's ready to go. Here we go. We've got Alex leading Josh. 2 E46s here. Lots of same make and model violence here, but we have a coupe leading a wagon. Alex in that 330. Him and his dad are always out here having a good time at all the events. And look at that gap that he's able to establish right off the line as they come through and initiate into turn 1. Let's see how deep Alex can get into the turn 1 zone. It looks like he has almost no angle and is not very deep at all into that zone. But here we go into zone 2. Huge angle. He must have heard me as he comes through outer zone 2. Comes through to outer zone 3 on a great line. Can he continue to hold that line? Pushes it out exactly where we want him to be. And it looks like Josh Pettingill is unfortunately having a little bit of a problem trying to keep up with that 330 as he dumps angle into it to come across the line. That was an exciting lead run from Alex, even though he did have a little bit of a mistake in the first run. Now, as we talked about, from a judging perspective, little mistakes are going to be graded a little bit less heavily. We want to be excited. We want to give you guys a show. So something we're going to flip them back around and see who can show us what they've got right now. We've got Josh leading Alex. Josh in that Wagon 3 Series Auto Parts, getting ready to flick it in. Both of them do a good job of initiating before the cone. A little bit of an e-brake pull potentially from Alex as they both come through here. Josh doing a much better job in Outer Zone 1, but let's see how he can do in Outer Zone 2 here. Outer Zone 2 not quite as deep, a little bit offline. This is going to set him up a little awkward for Outer Zone 3. It looks like Alex is doing a good job of applying that pressure, even though he comes out of Outer Zone 3 and kind of chops the line, so Alex has almost nowhere to go. Does a great job of keeping the car sideways. Both of them going wide into there. Alex, unfortunately, crossing the line right there with them. Looks like they both shut it down a little bit early. I think that's going to be just a little bit of a split fault there as we take a look at the replay. Looks like we are going to have Alex in that blue 330 CI E46 coupe taking the win over Max Pettingill in that wagon. Great performance from both of these drivers. Comes down to that wow factor that we saw from Alex being more active in the chase, and unfortunately we did see mistakes from both drivers in their lead runs. In chase versus chase, Alex really had the dominant performance there. Even though they both shut it down a little bit early on the track, it's going to be a split fault, so the decision goes to Alex in that blue E46 coupe. Looks like our next drivers are going to be Dustin and Daniel. Daniel warming up that Jasper Keys 350Z that we saw yesterday competing in Pro-Am on a slightly different tire here as he gets ready to battle a C6 Grand Sport of Dustin. Both of these cars heavy hitters in the top 32. This is going to be one to watch between these two drivers. Both LS powered, both a little bit heavier than the BMWs, but both of these cars capable of driving at a high level. Both of these drivers capable of driving at a high level. Let's see exactly what is going to come down between Daniel and Dustin in this battle. Here we go. We've got C6 way too nice to beat up versus a borrowed car way too nice to beat up. Let's see if they can both. Oh my gosh, we have Daniel asleep at the line. Can he make up the distance? Oh, that is a heartbreak for Daniel. Potentially was not looking at what is happening on the line or had an issue and was trying to get all ready. But look at the amount of ground that Daniel has made up. Daniel is able to come back into contention, and he transitions early to make sure he's right on the door. Already gets back up with that C6 of Dustin. Dustin comes out of that zone way early, but here's Daniel pouring the angle in, both of them as they come around to that fourth touch and go. Somehow managing to keep the callers sideways. That C6 coming out of zone 3 way early, unfortunately chopped the line quite a bit for Daniel to be able to get in there, and obviously Daniel closing up what seemed to be a 10-car gap off the line. Multiple seconds of hesitation at the start line, had not pulled up all the way, so definitely something that they're going to have to look at, but I really think Daniel did a great job there closing the gap. Obviously that car super capable to make some absolute jam and get back up with them. After a little bit of a bobble on the line, unfortunately, Daniel Hendricks looking down to see that his seatbelt had come unbuckled, had to put it back on, and our start line guy thought that was a nod that he was ready to go. But here we go. We've got Daniel in the C6 Corvette of Dustin, both initiating. Dustin initiating quite a bit behind Daniel, going to have a gap of his own to make up. And here we go, Daniel doing a great job in outer zone 1, filling that entire zone. Coming out to outer zone 2, doing a great job. It looks like that C6 may have shut down under the trailer, gets lost in the smoke, tears up the grass, and spins out. So we have Daniel Hendricks completing his lead lap here, and we have, unfortunately, Dustin in that C6 unable to continue even after that massive deficit. We have Robert Izzo, a familiar face here at PPIR for all of the drift events, both Drift Colorado and hosted by PPIR. If you guys are interested in coming to an event hosted by Drift Colorado or PPIR, check out Fall Bash going on, I believe, in October. That is going to be a fun one to be at. Definitely a big spectator event. If you are into spectating or you're a driver who wants to make sure you get maximum exposure, Fall Bash here at PPIR in October. Take a look at the PPIR schedule and check us out. Oh, my God, we've got Izzo and Ethan Hunter. Ethan Hunter in his Camaro. A formidable opponent, as I would know from running him last year. Ethan Hunter actually drove Pikes Peak Hill Climb this year in a stock car, does a ton of forms of racing, spec Miata, circle track, everything in between, and this is his drift Camaro, and he's going to be going up against Robert Izzo, a certified sim wizard. One of our drivers who is the most consistent, specifically in the lead, always hitting his zones. I have not seen him drive too much yet so far this competition, and Ethan Hunter is going to be giving him a lead. I know that Camaro is heavy, but it makes all kinds of power. It's on a big tire compared to the competition. Ethan Hunter is going to be giving it everything he can to make sure that he gets by Izzo in this first round, top 32. Here we go. We're up here in the booth having a good time as we get ready to send two of our friends, two of our enemies, Robert Izzo, Ethan Hunter, getting ready off the line. Here we go. Ethan Hunter with a big gap, puff of smoke out of Izzo's car. I know those valve seals are screaming on a hot day like today. Ethan Hunter doing an amazing job, as he always does, outside zone 1, making sure he gets out to the zone. Here we go. Through to the trailer, out to outer zone 2. Ethan Hunter does a good job of filling that zone as well. Now, will Izzo make up some ground here into 3? Ethan Hunter taking out the cone, coming into zone 3, comes out of the zone a little bit early, but here's Izzo right on his door, ready to say hello as they come through. Touch and go right before the finish line. Both of them smooth through the finish line. Those big, high horsepower cars making it look easy to get through this course. Here we go. We have Robert Izzo leading Ethan Hunter. Ethan Hunter jumps the line just a little bit to make sure he's right there with him as they initiate. Little squirm from Ethan Hunter as he waits for Robert Izzo to initiate. Izzo coming under the trailer, doing a good job in outer zone 1, just a slight bit more inside than Ethan Hunter was. Ethan Hunter leaving him no gap as they come through outer zone 2, transitions into outer zone 3. He is pushing him around this course. Ethan Hunter and Robert Izzo. Robert Izzo does a good job in the lead. Ethan Hunter right there on him, pulling e-brake, stalling the car out, making sure he doesn't run into the side of him. And Robert Izzo gets scared as he goes off in turn 4 in the outer clip. Ethan Hunter bullied him around the track. Ethan making his presence felt, heard, seen, and imagined by Robert Izzo. Robert Izzo unfortunately going off in turn 4. Pressure just a little too much. Ethan Hunter really took what we said in the drivers meeting to heart. I remember, excuse my profanity, run his ass over. I said multiple times in the drivers meeting, and he was ready to go straight through that that C5 of Robert Izzo. Here we go. We've got Kane in his 350Z coming through the course for a buy run as he gets a little bit shallow into outer zone 2, comes into outer zone 3 here. Looks like he's on a decent line, but just a couple feet shallow through the entire thing. As we run through to the touch and go on 4, we're going to need to make sure we reset those cones in just a sec so we can see if somebody baps them pretty hard. It looks like somebody from the start line is coming over to get that for us right now. Here we go. Grant doing an amazing job shacking some cones. That'll be fine there, bud. Here we go. We've got the 350Z leading the Corvette. Not an unfamiliar sight to see here at PPR. I believe this is Nathan Hunt leading Troy. Can't pronounce his last name right now. I apologize. In that beautiful C5 yellow Z06/Grand Sport. Unsure the model, but here we go. Nathan doing a great job getting out into outer zone 2. And as he comes through outer zone 3 on a perfect line, gets out of it just a little bit at the end, but does a great job filling the majority of that zone out to the touch and go. And unfortunately, we see a bit of an inactive chase out of that C5 in the follow position of Troy. Here we go, the inverse of that battle. I've got half a Pop-Tart in my mouth, but we're going through outer zone 1. We have got Troy in the lead with the 3 with the Z of Nathan giving chase. Troy in that lead position, not as deep as we would like to see. Looks like he has very minimal angle coming through this outer zone 2. Outer zone 3, he is way off the line. Fortunately, we have, oh, there we go. He gets into outer zone 3 just a little bit here as we come through to the touch and go in zone 4. Is he going to be able to stretch it all the way out there? Looks like he may be dropping a tire soon here. Nathan doing a good job in that 350Z to get it slowed down before they had a bit of a collision as the room ran out on the inside. Here we go, we have Patricia Upton in her 350Z with her husband sitting here proud in the booth getting some camera angles for us as she comes through for her by run under the trailer. Looks like she is doing a great job. This is a lead run. It definitely would be a high-scoring lead run up until this point. As we come through outer zone 2, super wide. Exactly what we want to see out of Patricia Upton as she comes through to outer zone 3. Hits the zone perfect, just a hair over, comes out just a little early. But she is doing an amazing job of filling all of the zones coming around this course, looking smooth while doing it. Here we go. We have Zach Whipple leading Corey Merchant, 2 friends in the pits, 2 enemies on the track. I couldn't tell you who I'm voting for here. I like both of these guys equally and hate their cars just as much. Here we go. We've got Zach initiating Corey. Familiar chasing Zach. Both of these guys drive together every single event. Both of them coming through. Zach doing a good job on that outside line through zone 1 as we come into outer zone 2 under the trailer. Huge angle from Zach, and Corey can't match it. Corey could not keep up with Zach in that bubble helmet as he comes through outer zone 3. He is going to be filling all of outer zone 3, doing a great job of holding that consistent line. Corey somehow gets back in it. Must be the passenger in the seat telling him to keep going, even though he had quite a huge error. Unfortunate to see. I would love for that to be a closer battle between these 2 friends, but they are doing an amazing job of putting on a show for us. Here we go. We're sending him again after trying to hold the start for a little bit for our production value here. Corey Merchant in the lead. Zach Whipple giving chase. Zach giving him plenty of room as they come through the first outer zone. Outer zone 1 looks like Corey is doing a great job filling that zone as he comes through under the trailer, throws it in. Unfortunately, unable to get out to outer zone 2 in front of Zach. All Zach has to do is keep it together here. Zach is coming in behind him. He is going to be applying the pressure through outer zone 3, keeping it on as they come into outer zone 4, making sure he stays sideways behind that car of Corey Merchant. Both of these cars struggling to stay up in the RPM as they come through the finish line. Both of these cars make it through cleanly, though. I'm going to go ahead and be super biased here as the only judge. Just kidding, we have 3 judges, but I'm going to give my boy Zach Whipple the win on that one. Corey unfortunately threw it away in outer zone 2 of that lead or of that chase run behind Zach Whipple. Might have been trying a little too hard to dog his buddy. That's unfortunate to see. Here we go in our second battle. We've got Chris Kobus leading Jacob Romero. As I was talking about before, one of the highest horsepower cars on the track right now. Jacob Romero's SC300 is not to be played with. JZ powering that car, decent sized turbo on it. I know when I was going up against him, I had to make sure I was flat-footed the entire time. Let's see what Chris Kobus can put together in that 350Z to try to make sure that he is going to throw down a heater lead line for us. We saw a great line from him in the first section here. Here we go. We've got Chris Cobus in that black 350Z leading Jacob Romero in the C300 giving chase. Both of them rocketing to the initiation. You hear that big bang out of Jacob Romero's JZ SC300 as they both come through our outer zone 1. Jacob Romero must have heard me in the driver's meeting. He's putting all the pressure on Chris Cobus as they come through. Chris Cobus not as deep as we would like to see, but does a great job into outer zone 2. Coming through to outer zone 3, running a super clean line. Comes out a little bit early as we get huge JZ noises out of Jacob Romero. Both of them doing an excellent job. Jacob putting the pressure on Chris Cobus here. Chris Cobus does a good job at the end of the track, but does drop a tire. We'll have to go and check how many tires that was. Unfortunately, we just got the radio in from the start line here. That was one tire off for Chris Cobus, and we are going to be sending the inverse of this battle momentarily. Here we go, Jacob Romero in that JZ SC300 leading Chris Cobus in his 350Z. That JZ banging off a limiter as he grabs the 1-2 shift. Here we go into the initiation here. Same noises as we heard last time. We can't get enough of them. He is doing a great job going wide into outer zone 1. Looks as though he's filling that entire zone perfectly as he comes under the trailer. Here we go into outer zone 2. Slides it in there. Does a good job of getting to that zone as well as he comes across, smoking out Chris Cobus. But Chris Cobus will not be shaken in that chase position. Chris Cobus doing everything he can to keep the car up to speed with that massive JZ SC300. Oh, as Jacob Romero drops a tire, and unfortunately, we get a shutdown from Chris Cobus as well. The judges are going to be deliberating for a sec here as we take a look at the replays on those. Here deliberating with our mics off here to make sure you guys don't hear exactly what's going on behind the scenes, but we got the SC300 getting the win on that one. We absolutely loved his aggression in the first corner of the chase. We absolutely loved his zones through 2 and 3. While they both did drop a tire at the end of their runs, both of those cars did a great job throughout. We have Max Pennington leading Blake Vigil here off the line. Max Pennington trying to get away from this Mustang. Nowhere to go. The Mustang is too fast. But here we go on initiation. Max does get a little bit of a lead on him. He does have a little bit of an e-brake pull that brings him back into contention. Blake Vigil doing a great job at staying right there with him. Max, though, filling that entire outside zone super smooth into zone 3. Here we go. Blake right on his door. Max, unfortunately, knocks off the cone. Oh, Blake! Blake is getting right there in his door, even though Max cut the line massively through outer zone 3. Blake somehow manages to keep it almost front wheels matching all the way through that back section, but All right, here we go. We got Blake Vigil leading Max Pennington. Max Pennington giving chase here to that Cobra Mustang in the lead of Blake. Both of them coming through Outer Zone 1, doing a good job. Blake does a great job of getting out to Outer Zone 1. Let's see how he does in Outer Zone 2, which Max really killed it at. He does a great job at Outer Zone 2. Not quite as good as Max, not quite as fluid, but Max right there with him. Oh, and Blake, unfortunately, way off of Outer Zone 3. Gets out there right at the end, but here we go as they come through the last touch and go. Unfortunately, Blake way off of Outer Zone 3. That is going to be a huge deduction for him and could be the decision maker here. Here we go. We've got Max Pennington in that yellow 350Z getting the win. It really came down to Outer Zone 3 there. Unfortunately, Blake unable to get into the zone in the slightest. Really cut off Max's lead line there. Max did get out of the zone a little bit early, but had a better job getting all the way through it. It looks like we have Brian Kraft potentially pulling up to the line here. I also see Cressida Mike making his way over. Here we go. Brian Kraft, king of the Facebook cappers, is lining up against Cressida Mike. Cressida Mike just takes it easy, man. Gotta love this guy. I'm gonna abstain from judging here as I've gotten into too many internet arguments with Brian Kraft, but we'll leave it up to our unbiased judges who are going to be taking a look at this one as Mike pulls up to the line. Here we go. We got Brian Kraft in the lead. Mike in that Cressida giving chase. Brian Kraft gets a good amount of distance. You have to think that Mike is doing this on purpose to make sure he can make it through that first corner cleanly. As that JZ lights off behind Brian Kraft's 350Z, Brian Kraft should have his nitros on for this battle. He knows that this is going to be a high-stakes, high-power battle against a JZ Cressida. Brian Kraft does a great job of getting into Outer Zone 2. Let's see if he can put it together in Outer Zone 3. And Outer Zone 3 just a little bit wide, but does a good job of getting out there to the zone. Definitely a followable lead. Cressida Mike drops 2 tires behind Brian Kraft, but stays together. Oh, and then Brian Kraft drops at least 2 tires, potentially 3. Oh my gosh, Brian Kraft had the advantage there. How'd he throw it away? Did he throw it away? We'll have to check the replays and see. We are clear to send after some deliberation and a couple of checks on the replays here as we are getting ready for Cressida Mike to take on Brian Kraft in that 350Z giving chase. Here we go. We got the clear to send command from the start line. Cressida Mike, both of them staying far back on the start. They are getting ready to go down into this initiation here. Cressida Mike with a little bit of an e-brake drag to get himself set up. Brian Kraft not letting him get an inch. Here we go. Brian Kraft knows he has distance to make up, knows he made a mistake in his lead run. Will he be able to stuff it in his door in the chase? Cressida Mike where he needs to be in Outer Zone 2. Not as deep as we would have liked to see. Cressida Mike coming through Outer Zone 3 with an amazing line through Outer Zone 3. Exactly what we want to see coming through there. Brian Kraft right behind him, trying to get followed behind him. Unfortunately has a little bit of a bobble in the transition there and then puts a way inside line through that last corner. Man, unfortunately for Brian Kraft, that would have been a big mistake on Mike's lead line when he went 2 tires off after outside zone 3 trying to dive in on him. However, Brian Kraft going 3 tires off in his lead line and unfortunately zeroing in that lead because of that 3rd tire is definitely going to make the judge's decision have some complexity to it. Getting from the judges here who are not biased that Cressida Mike, my least favorite best friend, gets the win on that one. Unfortunately, those 3 tires off for Brian Kraft in that last corner zeroed out his lead run. Here we go. We've got Alex and Rob getting ready. Rob, an OG of PPIR here. OG Drift Colorado driver. Alex, a young driver, 17, 18 years old, in a greatly set up 330. Look at that, Rob, not letting him get an inch off the line. Oh, unfortunately, a big bobble out of Alex in the lead there. Both these guys, amazing people, amazing drivers. Let's see how they can come into outer zone 2 here. Alex doing a good job getting angle in the car, but not as deep as we saw him last time. As he comes through into outer zone 3, pulls some angle out. Rob is right there with him. Rob's throwing more angle than Alex is at outer zone 3 and closing the gap. Rob with 17 clutch kicks coming through outer zone 3. And look at that, the angle on that 330 making it easy for Alex to complete the lap here. Rob was definitely pushing there at the end. That's what we like to see. That's exciting driving right there. Sorry for the delay, folks. I had to go pick up my own gosh darn cones out here as we had a cone placement get put up in, unfortunately, the wrong spot. But here we go. We have Rob leading Alex in his 330 CI. Coming up to the initiation point. Rob not letting him get an inch. He is going to be extending this corner all the way out into that first outer zone. Does a great job extra deep in outer zone 1. Outer zone 2 coming through right where he needs to be. Not as much angle as we saw Alex throw through there. But here we go. Rob into outer zone 3. Takes out the cone that I just put back up. Alex is right on his door. Alex is not letting him get an inch. Look at that from Alex. Look at this from that 330. Oh my God. The pressure has been turned up to 11 on Rob's door. Alex driving like he's ready to write that car off at any moment. The judges immediately calling for one more time. We want to see it over and over and over again from these drivers. That was an amazing battle. Alex doing an amazing job of making up a deficit there. Here we go. We have Daniel Hendricks in that Jasper Keys Performance 350Z leading a Fox Body Mustang. I apologize, I do not have the name of that driver with me. Daniel Hendricks with a substantial gap in the lead there as he comes through under the trailer. Here we go. Outer zone 2 pouring in the angle on outer zone 2. You see those blue Kansai wheels that he is running. Oh my goodness gracious. He's right there in outer zone 3, right where he needs to be. That Fox Body Mustang unfortunately cannot keep it together behind this 350Z. He's going to straighten throughout most of the course. That is going to be a 0, unfortunately. Here we go. We've got that Fox Body Mustang leading this Jasper Keys 350Z in the chase. Daniel initiating before the Mustang here and trying to stay behind that Mustang, which is driving completely straight under the trailer. Daniel is going to have a very hard time following as he's just drifting behind a guy grip driving around the course. You know, Sunday cruise for that Fox Body. Lots of understeer as he comes into outer zone 3 here. Coming through the touch and go. Let's see if he can put it together and actually drift through this one. And whoa, how did Daniel not loop the car out? Oh my God, another Fox Body Mustang loops out in front of him. You know that Kevin down here with us in the booth is sweating when he sees a driver like that in front of his 350Z. He's giving me the nod, no worries at all. He's got total faith in Daniel that he is going to be doing a great job of keeping that car safe for him. Or maybe putting a couple bumps on it, but nothing too major. We have Ethan Hunter leading Kane at the line in that 350Z. Ethan in his Camaro. Here we go, off the line. Ethan Hunter going to give it the beans off the line. Coming up to initiation here. Flick super early on. Kane flicking with him, trying to make sure he can stay with that high horsepower heavy car through this outer zone 1. Ethan Hunter getting out to zone 1 right where he needs to be. Coming through to zone 2 under the trailer. Outer zone 2 looking amazing with tons of angle. Ethan Hunter, outer zone 3 here. He is absolutely textbook. Through the entry of outer zone 3, comes out just a little bit early, and Kane right behind him, not giving him too much distance, but not making his presence felt at a huge degree here. Ethan Hunter comes through the finish line with Kane right behind him, about a car back. Here we go, the second half of this battle. This is going to be Ethan Hunter giving chase to Kane in that 350Z. Kane in that 350Z trying to establish a gap, but Ethan not letting him get an inch on the entry. Both of them light off early in the course. Here coming through to outside zone 1, outer zone 1 for both of these drivers. Looks good, a little bit deep from Kane, but Ethan is right there with him. Into outer zone 2, Kane does not get all the way to the track edge there. Ethan throwing a ton of angle to stay behind him and stay on the right line. Unfortunately, Kane throwing a lead line that is going to be hard for Ethan to follow there as he doesn't get out all the way into outer zone 3. Ethan with those tires on fire out there, absolutely pouring the smoke off of that heavy Camaro as they come through the finish line. Kane fist pump out the window, excited to be followed by a driver of that caliber, excited to have put down a great chase run against Ethan as well, but the judges will have to deliberate as best as they can as far as who got the win on this one. Here we go. It looks like we have a one more time battle at the line. Alex in that blue 330 Ci and Rob, the OG, in that VQ powered 240. Rob is going to be following Alex in that 330. Let's see how excited we can get for this one. Ladies and gentlemen watching at home, don't look away from your screens as we get ready to send these two competitors. This has been the best battle, in my opinion, all day, and we're running it one more time here as the clouds roll over PPIR. Here we go, off the line, Alex in the lead, Rob giving chase. Alex gets a little bit of a gap, but Rob not letting him get any further than that bumper. Here we go, both of them initiate early in the track. A little bit of an e-brake tap from Alex to get the car settled as they come through outer zone 1. Alex doing a good job in outer zone 1, but not all the way out like we would like to see. Outer zone 2, this is where he pours on the angle. Rob pouring on the angle right behind him. Both of them come through outer zone 2 with amazing flicks. Outer zone 3 from Alex is textbook. He comes out of the zone just a little bit of a left foot brake in there to stay deeper into that zone. That's a great adjustment that he made there. Rob is on his stuff. Unfortunately gets lost in that transition just a hair, but Rob doing a great job of making sure that Alex does not run away from him with those trailing arms. That VQ 240 being absolutely wrangled around this track right behind Alex in the lead. That is awesome driving to see out of both drivers as we see them both. Look at this coming through outer zone 2. You see Rob throw more angle in the chase right behind Alex before Alex gets to angle, flicking perfectly in unison with him. That is exactly what we love to see. Both these drivers could be on the podium today if they were not facing each other. Here we go, Rob in the lead. Rob is going to get a little bit of a gap on Alex as they come through this first outer zone 1, but Alex will be making this up as he's got those trailing arms and he's in a 330. Oh, I spoke too soon. Alex has to chop the track a ton to get back up into contention with him. Rob doing a good job in outer zone 2, definitely at the advantage here as Alex is nowhere to be found behind him. Alex starting to close up the gap as Rob comes through and delams a tire right in front of the judges. Can he keep it on the track? Can he keep it going? Did he feel that delam happen? We all saw it right in front of us. He's able to continue throughout the course and make the lap. Amazing driving out of Rob there, who obviously has a lost tire. We saw plenty of tread flying up here at us as judges. And it looks like from the judges, Rob is going to get the win on that one. A dominant performance in that chase position through outer zone 2 and doing an amazing job. Look right here. You can see his tire coming apart through outer zone 3. Complete delam from probably some old tires that Rob's had stashed in his shed for 10 years. Oh my God, exciting to see. Heartbreak for Alex. That could have been a podium battle for sure. Both of these drivers absolutely on a tear, and every single person out here doing an amazing job to make sure that they can get through these difficult competitors. We have Patricia Upton here on the line versus Nathan Hunt. 350Z on 350Z battle, trumpet warfare as we get ready to send them off here as the clouds roll in at PPIR. Just got the clear to send from the judges and from the start line. Here we go. Nathan Hunt in the lead. Patricia Upton in the chase in that purple 350Z. Here we go. Nathan flicks it in. Patricia looks like she may be having a bit of an issue in the chase there. 10-car gap or more forming right in that first corner. Let's see what Nathan Hunt can do to put together a nice lead lap here. He is getting out to outer zone 2, not as deep as we would like, but definitely made it out there. Here we go into outer zone 3, just off the outer zone, but carrying a good line, good smooth line through that outer zone 3. And here we go into the touch and go. Does a great job of getting to the outside of that track. Patricia did a good job to make up that gap as she came through, but it looked like potentially a missed gear on the start or some reason why she fell back so far behind in turn 1. Heartbreak City out here in turn 1. That's very unfortunate to see. She's normally a very consistent driver, and I'm stoked to see what she's going to put down in her lead lap here. Off the line, Patricia Upton spinning the tires all the way through first. Nathan giving her some space, giving her some room, knows what he needs to do to secure this victory. Here we go, both of them coming through turn 1. Let's see how Patricia does into outer zone 1. Does a good job of getting out there right in the zone where we need her. Here we go into outer zone 2. Does a good job of getting to the edge of outer zone 2. And here we go, coming through outer zone 3. Does an amazing job getting into outer zone 3 and stays in there pretty close to it through all of outer zone 3. But look at that, Nathan right behind her, making sure his presence is felt, making sure it's not going to be the same story of inactive chases and leads versus leads. Patricia, unfortunately, getting a bite of the dirt on the end of this course. Heartbreak City from all of us Patricia fans up here in the judges tower, but fortunately she did make quite a big mistake in the lead up to that first run when she was following. Nathan Hunt is going to get the win and advance off. We are officially in the grade 8 here at Drift Colorado, round 4, Group B street class competition. The level is getting more and more exciting. I see all of the drivers over there still in our hot pits area who are contenders to win. We've got Jacob Romero, Zach Whipple rolling up to the line, Pueblo versus Springs, Jay-Z versus M52J. We've got Zach Whipple in that NA M3 making about 180 horsepower without the heat soak that it's going through. And we've got that Jay-Z of Jacob Romero getting ready to smoke out the stadium here at PPIR. Jacob Romero looks like he is going to be in the chase. Zach Whipple going to be leading first. I am expecting my buddy Zach Whipple to throw down a perfect run if he wants to advance here. He needs to know that Jacob Romero is not somebody to be messed with. That whole camp with Ethan, Jacob, all those drivers, Blake, they are throwing it down consistently at events here. So we all know exactly how well they can drive, but we know that Zach's got that dog in him occasionally. Sometimes it's Chihuahua, sometimes it's a Pitbull. Other times it's a Great Dane who doesn't know what he's doing, gets lost mid-course. But he is going to throw a lead down for us right here. Let's see if we can get Zach Whipple to throw down an absolutely perfect 100-point qualifying lead run. Zach taken off, about to get overtaken by that JZ. You hear the JZ pedaling it, trying to stay behind him. There goes Zach into this first corner. Jacob Romero giving him no space into the first corner. Both of them coming through outer zone 1. Zach does a good job getting out there, but not as deep as we would love to see. Zach in outer zone 2, not quite as deep as we would like to see either. Can he clean it up in outer zone 3? He does a great job into outer zone 3. That's exactly what we needed to see in OZ3 from Zach. Jacob Romero right there behind him as they both come through the rest of this course. Great job on the touch and go. Easy for both of these experienced drivers out here who drive PBRR on a monthly basis. Jacob Romero coming off a little bit of a hiatus from his job riding trains, which is sick. Zach Whipple just unemployed at the moment. Both of these guys driving like their jobs depend on it, who don't have jobs. Here we go. Zach Whipple rolling off the start line, trying to stay ahead of Jacob Romero in that SC300 JZ car. Jacob Romero getting the jump on him as they come through outer zone 1, but here we go. Zach is going to have to start putting on the pressure and making up some space. Jacob way wide into outer zone 1, throwing it up with tons of smoke. Here we go. Zach Whipple in the chase, unable to close the door on him. Zach Whipple trying to pull angle out of the car and chop the line. Here we go. Door him. Run him over, Zach. Run him over. There we go. Zach finally on the door, but is it too little too late? Jacob doing a great job of leaving that door open by having a clean, smooth, and perfect lead run, lead for lead. This is going to be hard. Zach was unable to touch all those zones and unable to touch Jacob Romero's chase. Definitely something we're going to have to consider here as judges. Here we go. We've got Jacob Romero taking the win over Zach. Heartbreak City from all of us up here in the booth who like heckling Zach. Potentially a good thing because I've got a lot of jokes to make once we end this stream. Unfortunate, though, you know, that JZ just a little bit too much for Zach to overcome. Here we go, though. We got Max Pennington, Cressida Mike on the line. This is going to be another interesting battle. Max in that 350Z. Mike with that straight axle that was bent by MissileWorks. Brandon Peseta. Here we go. We've got Max into first outer zone 1. He is quite shallow, almost no angle, and not able to get out to that zone. Into outer zone 2, not as deep as we would like to see, but here comes Mike. He is charging on the inside there as we have a great outer zone 3. Oh, Max Pennington jumps out of the zone way early. Mike able to somehow keep it behind him and keep it sideways. Oh, but just like we talked about in the driver's meeting, did Max's exit of outer zone 3 make it so there was no room for Mike to chase? We are going to have some careful deliberation as judges because that was something that was brought up. If you come out of outer zone 3, just like we see here on this replay, they come out of outer zone 3 way too early. There's just no room for an active chase to go. Right there on his back wheel, and then look at this. Chops right through the course, inside tire, riding that candy strip. Is there any room for Mike to be able to transition here without going off track? I am going to have to double check that replay after we run the next battle. Here we go. We have Mike leading Max Pennington, giving chase. Both of them initiate here at a good point right before that initiation cone. Cressida Mike doing a good job like he does, getting all the way out to the zone. We have a great outer zone 2 from Cressida Mike here as he comes through into outer zone 3. Textbook into outer zone 3, just a little bit off. But see how he keeps it wide there in outer zone 3, making sure there's plenty of room for Max to dive in on his door. This is going to be something that is going to come down to that decision on Mike versus Max and what could have happened there. We're going to see that replay of Mike's chase run over and over again from every angle we can. We have Cressida Mike getting the win. The judges were deliberating over here, and we brought up the fact that it was said in the driver's meeting explicitly, if you are in the lead in outer zone 3 and you jump out of that outer zone 3 way early, come in here, as you can see, coming through across the track onto that inside line through the candy strip, and Active Chase is going to have nowhere to go. That's why we have them staying so far outside in outer zone 3. Mike, with nowhere to stay on the inside of him, unfortunately gets pushed off the track there, as we saw, but now he is going to be advancing. We have Daniel pulling up in that Jasper Keys LS350Z. It looks like we may have Rob that he is going to be battling, seeing who can get into the top 4, and what a stacked top 4 this has been. I see Jacob Romero. I see Mike Osell, who just got in there in that Cressida. Rob and Daniel going at it, 2 amazing competitors. And then we've got Nathan Hunt and Ethan Hunter, battle of the hunters or the hunted. Let's see how this goes down as our final 4 is starting to take shape. So excited to see both of these drivers making it through. Stoked to see that run from Max. Unfortunately, just came out of that zone a little bit early. Max, I expect you to do better next time. But no time to dwell on the past. We have Rob, Thirsty Rob in that VQ 240SX. Daniel Hendricks in the 350Z LS-powered rental car. Seems like Daniel will drive anything but his own car out here in Group B. Caused a little bit of controversy in James Ford's Corvette last time, but we have Rob potentially pulling down for a cooldown. We need to check in with the line and see what's going on there. Here we go. We have Rob coming back to the line here. Thirsty Rob doesn't have an Instagram, pulling up to the line. Daniel Hendricks in that 350Z already there, ready to give chase. Rob is on the line and ready to go. Looks like he had to do a quick cool down of his car. But here we go, both of them getting ready on the line here, and both of those V6 and V8s powering up. Both swapped cars here. It looks like we are getting the clear to send from the judges and the clear to send from our drivers here. Here we go, Rob taking off on the line. Daniel Hendricks ready to shadow him throughout the entire course. Rob flicks it in, tons of speed. Daniel's going to need to pick up the throttle big time to make up that gap, but he has the power to do it in that Jasper Keys 350Z, LS-powered 350Z right there, making it happen to close down the gap. Rob not getting as far out into outer zone 2 as we've seen him previously, but doing a good job, and here we go, Rob into outer zone 3. Rob is textbook into outer zone 3. Daniel is not letting him go anywhere. Big clutch kick to light off those tires as he's on those Valino Grevia 08Cs. Rob with a little bit of a dirt drop in the lead position there. It looks like we're going to have to get a reading from the start line to see if that was 1 or 2 tires over there. Here we go, looking at this replay here. We have Rob a little bit outside of zone 2, not where we would want him, but here we go. We are starting back up at the line. We've got Daniel Hendricks taking off on this 240. The 240 giving him no room. Rob, an experienced driver, knows how to battle down on power, but Daniel with more angle, more power, more smoke coming through outer zone 1, doing an amazing job filling that zone. And here he goes into outer zone 2. Can he continue the dominance all the way out there into outer zone 2, smoking it out, rolling onto the throttle in that LS. Doesn't do quite as good of a job in outer zone 3. And look at Rob. Rob is right there on his door, battling his way back up. Transitions right around him. Rob, this is what we like to see, but is it too little, too late for Thirsty Rob in that 240? He turned his wheels back to the right pretty big. The judges are going to be deliberating here for just 1 second. Daniel is going to get the win on that one. We loved the exciting driving from Rob, but unfortunately, like we were saying, potentially just a little bit too little too late on that one. Rob did a valiant effort. Oh, we have some fans in the crowd down here. Nicholas Deniford, Savannah Little, Mary from BMW of Winslow, and another homie out there in the gray shirt. They are furious that Rob went home. My apologies, guys. It was a 3-1 decision. Big hands up in the crowd. We would have loved to see that one go one more time, but we have to put our own biases aside and make sure we're picking the best one to continue. Now, here we go. This is going to be a battle to watch. Ethan Hunter in the lead. Nathan Hunt giving chase. The hunter and the hunted. Ethan in that Camaro with a big power advantage, it would seem. Nathan Hunt giving chase. Here we go. You see that power advantage as Ethan pulls away in turn one. Nathan Hunt right behind him coming through here. Had a bit of an easy ride to get here. Let's see how we can do against a formidable competitor like Ethan Hunter. Here we go. Ethan Hunter into outer zone 2. Perfect job in outer zone 2. All of the track being used by that huge Camaro as he comes through outer zone 3. Little brake tap to set himself up into outer zone 3. But great job by Nathan Hunt. Oh, a little bit of a dirt drop by Nathan Hunt. But he stays in it, stays with him. That is a great job to continue the lap. Here we go. We are going to send the inverse of this battle. We have Nathan Hunt versus Ethan Hunter. Ethan Hunter giving chase. Nathan Hunt in the lead as they come through to our initiation point here at PPR in Fountain, Colorado. We are drifting here through to outer zone 1. Nathan Hunt doing a good job of getting outside and filling outside zone 1 as you see him come over that where that cone used to be. Ethan Hunter right beside him, barreling that huge car. Oh, big dirt drop. We got a bumper coming off, but they keep going. Here we go. Nobody's stopping this run. Such proximity from Ethan Hunter. He takes the bumper off on that straighten, but they're going to keep it going. They're going to keep coming around PBIR, going back through their own dirt that they throwed up off of outer zone 2. What an amazing performance from both of these drivers. We need somebody to shag that bumper. Kevin is on it. Look at this right here on the replay. Big dirt drop from 350Z. Ethan Hunter takes that bumper clean off and keeps it pushing, applying the pressure at all costs. Ethan Hunter is going to get the win, and he looks fired up as he flips a 180 over in that hot pit area. Here we go. Our next battle when we're swapping tires is going to be Jacob Romero pulling up to the line. He's going to be followed by Mike Oswell. Jay-Z on Jay-Z Violence. Mike may be swapping his tires. I don't see him quite out at the line yet. Oh, no, there he is. He's warming up his tires over there in the bus stop as he pulls back through to the line. Jay-Z on Jay-Z battle. SC300, all the boost. Pretty stock 1J with a couple of add-ons and a solid rear axle. But like we said, got some toe in that car on the solid rear axle somehow due to some magic up in Denver from Missile Works. Now his car is quite a bit faster than it used to be. Jacob's car has been putting the absolute gap. Buses on people off the start line. Let's see how another Jay-Z car can shake things up. See if we can take down that big power SC300. Jacob Romero taking off from the line, making all kinds of noises, gaps Mike a little bit on the line. Mike and Jacob with equal e-brake pulls, both of them lighting off the tires. Smoke rolling off of Jacob Romero's SE300 as they come through the trailer, coming into outer zone 2. They are both throwing angle. Oh, little hiccup from Mike on that transition. Jacob Romero flat-footed through here as he's bouncing off a limiter. Unfortunately, does not get all the way out to outer zone 2. A little e-brake correction from Jacob Romero there as they come out to the final touch and go. Mike is right there on his door. So stoked for that battle. So stoked to see the inverse of this play out, to see if Mike can fill out outer zone 3 a little bit better and see what may have happened with Mike in that chase position. As we come through here on the replay under the tunnel, you can see Mike in that chase position having a little bit of a bobble, potentially a late transition there, but doing a great job of staying with him throughout that. And unfortunately, we've got Jacob Romero not filling zone 3, but here we go. Mike in the lead, Jacob Romero giving chase. Mike in that Cressida throws it in. Jacob's right there with him. He's not giving him an ounce of space on outer zone 1. Mike doing a great job of getting all the way out through that outer zone 1. Here we go, outer zone 2. Mike transitioning into outer zone 2. Does a good job of getting out there, but not quite as deep as we'd like to see. He's coming through outer zone 3. Oh my God, here we go. He's all the way out there. Jay-Z noises up the wazoo. They are both on each other. This is an exciting battle to see. We're going to have to go lead versus lead, chase versus chase, and really analyze this one to see who may be moving on to our final battle. From the judges, we're going to get to see this Jay-Z on Jay-Z battle one more time, like Zach in the booth so rudely told me to say. Parrot on my shoulder over here, but he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. I just want to see more Jay-Z noises coming through this racetrack. Both of these drivers doing an amazing job, potentially both of them either needing a cool down or needing tires, turbo 6 cylinders. You will get that. Looks like we have a couple of drivers that were not in our competition exiting the start line here, maybe going to follow their idols of Mike and Jacob Romero. We've got a bunch of heater drivers left in our top 4, and you are going to see the competition get ramped up. This is where we're really going to be judging for mistakes and judging for proximity. I want to see somebody run somebody over. I know Mike's car looks like it's ran over a few cars. Jacob Romero's car looking awfully clean, but I know he drives it hard as can be. This is going to be an exciting one more time battle for both of these drivers. As we get ready for a potential one more time battle, or a battle between Ethan Hunter and Daniel Hendricks. This is so exciting, guys. I'm slipping over my words. I'm so stoked to see a bunch of familiar faces, a bunch of hitter drivers. No one has had an easy battle to get up here, aside from Ethan, but he gets lucky all the time, so we don't like Ethan for that. But either way, all of these drivers doing an amazing job making sure that they get into our final 4 here as we line up Jacob Romero to lead Mike in that Cressida once more. Here we go, Jacob Romero taking off from the line. Mike in that Cressida, he must know that he needs to up the pressure on this chase run. Jacob Romero giving him a little bit of a slip on the line. Here we go. Mike in that Cressida, a car and a half, 2 cars behind. Jacob Romero doing a great job filling that outer zone and smoking out our spectators here at Pikes Peak International as he comes into outer zone 2, pouring on the smoke, pouring on the power out of that Jay-Z. He is going to have a hard time getting into outer zone 3 there, making it hard for Mike to get close up to there, but Mike closing the door on them as they come through. Touch and go on turn 4 in our horseshoe here. That's a hard one because Jacob did a great job of running away from him, but ran away by being not in zone 3, and that's something that we've talked about in the drivers meeting, is in a very, very important zone to be able to fill. Now we are going to flip that battle around and see this one more time. You can see on this replay here, we have Jacob Romero not all the way out where he needs to be, not giving Mike a chance to get on that door. Let's see what the inverse of this battle plays out as. Here we go, Mike in that Cressida, Jacob Romero giving chase, pouring on the smoke behind that Cressida. You know those tires are hot. Cressida with a little bit less angle than Jacob Romero as he comes through here. Jacob Romero doing a great job to stay with Mike, but Mike doing picture-perfect zones here. Picture-perfect zone 3 as he comes in. Jacob Romero is on the attack. He is putting it on his door into turn 4. Easy for him to do that when the door was left open by Mike. Gosh, this is going to be a hard decision for the judges here. The judges deliberating here, going lead for lead, chase for chase. We are going to need a sec as we watch these replays together. I'll just think out loud here as we watch this replay of Jacob Romero. Obviously lights the tires off early, plenty of angle, plenty of smoke as he comes through here. How deep was he in outer zone 1? Not quite as deep as we'd like to see. Outer zone 2 is where he really pours on the angle and smoke. You can hear him full throttle through here, and then coming through all the JZ noises, but unfortunately does not get all the way out to that zone. Now, there were mistakes from both drivers in this run, but we already did a one more time. We've got to decide a champion right now for at least the top 4 and see who we are going to be sending into the finals. As I abstain from that decision, asking all of our awesome judges out here to make a call as unbiased as possible. We are giving Mike the win. This beautiful outside zone 3. Let Jacob Romero get into his door, but unfortunately Jacob not giving him the same common courtesy. So we know that that lead for lead, we are giving Mike the clear advantage on that. Jacob did have quite a bit more exciting of a chase, but you have to think that could have been because Mike left the door so wide open for him. Here we go. We have Daniel Hendricks warming up his tires to pull up right in front of Ethan Hunter. Daniel Hendricks in that borrowed 350Z of Kevin that we saw driving yesterday. LS 350Z versus Camaro. Here we go, clear to send from the judges from the start line. Ethan Hunter getting a little bit of a head start to make sure he can keep up with that 350Z. Both of them initiating into turn 1. A little bit more grip, it looks like, from the 350Z as they first take off, but Ethan doing a good job of managing that gap, making sure he is making his presence felt through outer zone 1. Great job from Daniel in outer zone 1 as they come into outer zone 2. Tons of angle from Daniel. Huge smoke cloud, but look at Ethan Hunter. Ethan Hunter is right there with him. Great run through outer zone 3 from Daniel. Ethan Hunter right up there on his door. Oh my goodness, Ethan Hunter is going to have some work to do in his lead line to keep up with that amazing lead from Daniel Hendricks in that LS 350Z. Ethan Hunter doing an awesome job to stay right on that highly capable 350Z of Daniel Hendricks. Now we're going to flip him around as we look through this replay. Look at the angle here from Daniel Hendricks as he comes through outer zone 2 all the way on the edge of the track. The second half of the battle, we've got Ethan Hunter in the lead. Daniel Hendricks giving chase. Ethan Hunter barreling down the start line. Might have a little bit more power, just got the jump on him. Here we go. Ethan Hunter pulling a gap on Daniel. What's up? Here we go. We've got Ethan Hunter in the lead, does a great job in outer zone 2 as well. Daniel unable to put the pressure on throughout the remainder of the course. Ethan Hunter chops the line in the lead here, but Daniel is still right there with him. Ethan Hunter on the brakes, heavy in that transition, on the brakes again. Might be trying to play a couple of games with Daniel behind him, but Daniel's got that LS power to keep him sideways. This is going to be a tough decision for the judges. The judges are going to go ahead and get Daniel the win over Ethan Hunter. We have a little bit of rain falling down onto the track. This is going to make conditions even more challenging as we come in to our top 3 and 4 battle and our final battles here. But you know what? We get to see friends become enemies as we're going to see Jacob Romero and Ethan Hunter in 3 and 4 potentially battling for that 3-4 spot, which would be awesome to see. We are going to hold the line for just a quick sec while we get some tire changes done and clean up some equipment, make sure we're out of the rain.
We are taking a brief hiatus here. We've got some typical Colorado weather rolling in the afternoon, and and we're working on making sure that all the electronics for this lovely live stream are protected. Bear with us for just a few minutes. Thank you so much for bearing with. Thank you so much for bearing with us. We've got a couple of our drivers taking some new laps in the wet conditions, just checking out how the course is going to behave.
Get us on camera 5. Hit 5 and cut. All right, guys, we're here braving a rainstorm for Drift Colorado. Round 4. It is absolutely dumping. We're keeping all of our camera gear safe, all of our electronics safe, but we have Daniel Hendricks on the line. Daniel Hedrick. Sorry, Hedrick. He corrected me earlier. On the line, they may be waiting out this spout of downpour to go. Cressida Mike is going to be in the lead. Daniel is going to be chasing. We are ready to send him. You ready to cut camera? Okay. Here we go. Got the okay from the judges. Okay from the start line. Here we are, ready to go. This is going to be our final battle. Cressida Mike, Daniel Hedrick coming into the first corner here. We've got Cressida Mike trying to make his best effort to do a solid line under the trailer as they come into zone 2. All I can do is watch the monitor here. Mike doing a good job of getting to that outside. Daniel right behind him. Rain or shine, we are throwing down tandems. Mike doing an amazing job getting all the way out to the end of zone 3. Both of these cars on an absolute spin fest here. Oh my goodness, they both make it through the course. Probably a 50-second lap. Replays coming at you here so our judges can see while standing in the rain. Oh my God, what a great job from both of these drivers, keeping it together. As the rain just keeps coming harder and harder, we are all standing here in the booth trying to make sure the equipment doesn't get wet. Here we go, Daniel Hendricks leading Cressida Mike in the rain. Absolute downpour, get on the arc or get on Daniel's door. Here we go, Cressida Mike. He's going to be giving him a little bit of space as they come under the trailer in that Jasper Keys 350Z coming out to outer zone 2. Daniel doing an amazing job in outer zone 2 to fill out the entire zone. Mike right there on him, but just a little bit further back. Daniel doing an amazing job in outside zone 3. Little bit of a straighten, clutch kicks it back out. Here we go into outer 4. Is he going to have the grip to stay on the track? We can't tell on the dirt drop because we can't see dirt no more. Battle. Get off my cord, Zach. We're on the 3-4 battle. Ethan Hunter, Jacob Romero, friends from Pueblo, Colorado. Here we go as they come in the rain. Jacob Romero way down on tires. He must be happy to see the tire wear will be almost non-existent throughout this battle. Ethan Hunter comes under the trailer, and Jacob Romero spins out. Ethan Hunter gets the best of his friend here. Here we go, coming into outer zone 3. Ethan Hunter spins it as well. He loops it as well. Oh my God, here we go. Here we go, Ethan! Yeah! It's carnage on track right now for the 3-4 battle between Jacob Romero and Ethan Hunter. They flipped positions, both of them spun. We are going to have to go towards the next battle here. Ethan just overcooked it, threw away the third place finish. We are not going to be announcing winners for anything else here until this competition is concluded. Here we go. Ethan Hunter giving chase to Jacob Romero. We are live action coming at you through the lake that is PPR's infield here. Jacob Romero running away from him, but Ethan Hunter trying to close that gap back down as the rain just keeps coming harder and harder. Here we go. Ethan Hunter, Jacob Romero. There's standing water all over the track. Those big three-piece wheels getting cleaned off for Jacob Romero. No issues there. Ethan Hunter. Oh! Oh! Big dive by Ethan Hunter. Takes out Jacob Romero. Oh my God, we need a replay on that one. We need a replay on that immediately. Ethan Hunter going to be buying Jacob Romero a new tail light after this one. Let's see who's at fault as we catch this replay as they come through. Jacob Romero on a good line in the lead. Comes through into outer zone 2. Ethan Hunter trying to keep that car from spinning out like it did before. Both of them hitting huge patches of water. And then look at this. Ethan Hunter, he hits a dry patch in the track, speeds him up. Jacob Romero straightens in front of him. Oh, we need that again. We need it again a million times. Here we go. We can watch this one more time, hopefully in a bit of slow motion here. Jacob Romero coming through. You see Ethan Hunter hits that dry patch right there in the middle of the track, puts him on a trajectory to come right up onto his door. And then right here you see Jacob Romero straighten into the door of Ethan Hunter. The judges will have to deliberate that. We are not letting you guys know who the winner or the third place, fourth place battle is until we do our award ceremony, hopefully somewhere where it can be dry. If you are tuning in with us, we'd like to thank you for bearing with us as the rain finally starts to break here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. We have our one more time finals battle. This is Drift Colorado, brought to you by After Hours Autosport, Big Nick's Auto, Springs Tire and Auto, 3 Series Auto Parts here at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Fountain, Colorado. As we're off, Cressida Mike leading Daniel Hendricks in that borrowed car of Kevin that we saw yesterday. Both of these cars capable of winning every series that we have here, splashing their way through the infield as the rain continues to come down. Doing a great job through that. Daniel with a well-timed transition. Cressida Mike gets into outer two just a little bit, not as deep as we would like, but here he goes. Daniel Hendricks with a big spin. Big spin out of Daniel Hendricks. Oh, and he's dragging mud up onto the track. Daniel Hendricks gets back into it as Cressida Mike finishes out his lap. Heartbreak City for Daniel in that Jasper Keys LS Swap 350Z. Here we go, the inverse of this battle. Daniel in the lead, Cressida Mike in the chase. He is going to need to make sure that he stays well out of Daniel's way. His spotter must have been telling him, if he has a spotter, to stay way back. Oh my God, wait, do we have a straighten out of Cressida Mike? What was that? In the back section, we might not have a camera there anymore. We couldn't tell you what happened right there. Hopefully the judge's keen eye would have caught that one if there was anything happening there. But here we go into outer zone 3. Daniel doing a great job putting the car right where it needs to be. Cressida Mike right behind him. No hatch glass in that car, smashed out long ago as they come through the last corner. Cressida Mike playing it safe, knowing that he has the clear advantage in this battle. Cressida Mike through the finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, the judges do have a decision. We are going to be Alrighty, guys. It is way too heavy of a downpour for us to do an award ceremony, so we are going to thank our sponsors one more time and then announce a winner to these guys. Tell them to get them out of their cars over there. We are going to show you guys these two drivers hopping out of their cars, and we are going to announce the victor, hopefully at around the same time, so we can build up a little bit of suspense for you guys here with us in the booth. Where are they going? Oh no, where are our drivers going? We're still hiding from the rain here in the booth. Daniel Hendricks. He corrected me multiple times. Hendricks. Daniel H. in that 350Z. We've got Cressida Mike, and of course the Cressida coming back through here. Maybe they will get to the wall for us so we can announce it to them. Here we go, some celebration donuts from both of our 1-2 finishers here in Group B at Drift Colorado, brought to you by After Hours Auto Sports, Big Nick's Auto, 3 Series Auto Parts, Spring Tire and Auto for all of your tire needs. We are going to be getting soaked with them down there while we announce a winner. Here we go. We've got both of these drivers eager, waiting to see who the winner may be. We're going to get a mic set up so we can go brave the rain with them, jump down there, and let them know who won Group B of Drift Colorado, one of our most exciting competitions yet.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check.
Plug back in.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check 1, mic check 2, mic check 3, mic check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check.
Yeah, we're gonna give it a sec. Zach, can you hold that towel for him? Folks, we are going to be holding off while this rain passes. The sun coming out here in Fountain, Colorado. Finally going to get some sun so we can run down there, escape this downpour, and give out some awards for our Group B drivers. We're going to try to get Jacob Romero and Ethan Hunter over here to the winner's circle as well. Get everybody stoked to see the winner of this Drift Colorado Round 4 Group B battle.
Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check.
Oh, wait, turn me up. This might be working. Oh, that's working.
Hello, hello. Check, check, check.
We might need to turn this up. I'm passing this one over to you.
Check, 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 check. Check. A little bit more. Check, check, check. There we go. We have got a microphone again.
Do I have anything to put? Do I need to put anything over this transmitter? I can hold the transmitter like this if you want. There we go. Transmitter in the pocket of my board shorts. Why not? I've been standing under there announcing. Alrighty, guys. We are making our way out from the booth to go talk to some of our Group B drivers out here. Oh, big old puddles over here. Huge puddles. Man, that was insane, dude. I don't know if you guys could hear me screaming from up there in the booth, dude. We were hooting and hollering. We got Ethan Hunter coming out here, or is he just, rip? Ethan Hunter, Jacob Romero are 3 and 4 drivers. Unfortunately, not up here with us, but that means we get to give more time to Daniel Hedrick. And Crescent Mike, dude, I got a DM from him while I was taking a pee mid comp. Hedrick. I was like, my bad, dude, my bad. Yeah. Dude, you were crushing it out there. Hey, how was it? Obviously, we had crazy changing conditions out there, but in a car you're not familiar with. Have you ever driven this car in the rain at all?
No, I've never barely drifted any cars in the rain, honestly.
It stays pretty dry most of the time. How was this thing ripping, obviously, being on against me? Really? Oh, yeah. Well, round 3 was that last year? Father's Day. Yeah, there was puddles, and we saw Ethan Hunter in his 3-4 battle. We saw him come through a huge puddle and then grip up, come into the back of Jacob Romero as Jacob straightened. That was a tough one. But anybody you want to shout out for you being up here on the box today?
Literally every fucking person over there, sorry. This fool for letting me his car, Riley for letting me his car and it braking, and everyone in the pit crew. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much.
It takes a village out here. And then Crescent Mike, not an unfamiliar sight out here on the box, dude. How was it with the changing conditions today? How did the car do? I know you put some tow into your straight axle car recently. I've said it a couple of times on the live stream, but how's the car driving? Do you think that extra tow definitely helped you out in the rain here?
100% got to thank Brandon Peja from Missile Works. He is just a magician. I didn't even think that was possible. I had I think it was 3/4 of an inch toe out because of hitting a wall in South Dakota a couple weeks back. He straightened it, then put 3/8 or so in. Totally different car. I mean, I didn't even think it was possible that I'd be able to dig out of corners like I used to not be able to, and now with just that tiny little bit of toe in, Brandon made it happen. I got to thank him 100%. This condition, to be all day, exact same, literally running same line over, and then boom, we were just laughing at grid, just like, this is ridiculous. How can we go from just one thing completely the other? And I mean, the rain and the puddles over there following Daniel, I was like, I couldn't even see him. I was like, he's maybe up there somewhere. So that was wild.
Looks like we have our dark horse of the series, too. Ethan Hunter coming up. All these guys, pretty good friends. Ethan, a pretty good enemy to have if you're going to have one in his Camaro here. Pulling up late, and he's got a passenger. Will he be able to open either of his doors to get out, or does he have to Dukes of Hazzard this thing? There we go. Still open. It wasn't that hard of a tap. Did you guys go get a little fist fight, little make-out session? Now you're back?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, we're got. Can we get the camera over here real quick?
Oh, it's got a hole in everything. Hey, I know a guy's got mod shots.
That's right.
How was it going into the rain abruptly? I mean, we all of a sudden we felt 2 raindrops and it was dumping. How was that for you trying to adapt to those conditions in this heavy of a car?
Well, you can always tell when you've had rain practice and when you haven't, and I haven't had that much rain practice in this car, as you can tell. So, but we learned a lot, and it was really fun. It was slick and dry. There was dry areas, slick areas, but I mean, it was fun. I mean, any type of obstacle or weather condition that mixes it up, I'll take it.
Awesome, awesome. And you obviously showing out here in your Camaro. I was talking about it at the start. One of the heaviest cars out here. One of the higher horsepower cars out here. You're saying 4,000 pounds. And then we go to potentially an even heavier car, an even higher horsepower car. Jacob making us all gasp in the booth when that thing backfires. How was it piloting that JZ SC300 out here?
Oh, it's a blast every time. Every single time. Jay-Z noises, you can't beat them.
Can't beat them coming through here. We saw that you were getting your 3-piece wheels cleaned for you as you came through here in the rain. What size tire are you on in the back there?
265, 35, 18.
All right, pretty.
A mixture between Zeknovas, Vitors, and Delinos today.
Just running a little bit of everything. I mean, would be definitely a hindrance when you're running in the dry, trying to be as consistent as possible. But once the rain comes, kind of evens the playing field between everybody. So stoked to see you guys. I think without further ado, we're going to thank our sponsors real quick. After Hours Auto Sports for helping Formula Drift come out here to Colorado for our Pro-Am Series. 3 Series Auto Parts, one of Levi Waite's ventures. Levi Waite, Drift Doctor, Drift Colorado for having us out here. Pikes Peak International Raceway, obviously, for giving this amazing location to drift. We got Big Nick's Auto up in Denver, as well as Springs Tire and Auto down here for all of your tire needs down in the Springs. Levi, do you have anything to add before we start presenting some winners?
No, man, I just want to say thanks for everybody that came out and stuck out this rain, man. It came like we got that couple of sprinkles and it didn't give us much warning. It just came out and just dumped on us. The wind came up. Everybody's holding canopies, getting soaked. We had guys running, and I mean, people's windows are open in their pits. They're trying to go back and close stuff up. It was awesome. It was fun to watch. Giving everybody a sight lap. They're like, yeah, I'd like a sight lap. I have no idea what's going on out here. And then the outer zone 1 was so deep it looked like watching jet skis drive through the water out there. Like these huge roosters of water coming up. It was amazing to watch. It was really actually pretty good. Huge shout out to all the media guys, Steve Stark, everybody that's up there volunteering, helping. Setting up, getting everything ready. It's been amazing. We didn't have the most ideal conditions kind of all weekend. We went from basically 100 degrees yesterday to some hot and humid 90s this morning, and then this rainstorm. It was watching the cars change, watching track conditions change. It was a good time. I hope everybody on the live stream enjoyed it. Come, make sure you guys check us out at Colorado National Speedway next month. End of the month. It's the last Sunday of the month. We're going to be out there finalizing our Pro-Am. So check that out. And then I'll get back to you. We'll get those awards going.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, make sure to check out some of our drift events that are coming up. Obviously, CNS, like he said, Fall Bash and Ladies Drift Day here at PP Hour in October. After that, make sure you guys are coming out. If you did like the live stream and you want to be here in person checking us out, please make sure you come down here, show your support, come check out your local drivers, get some ride-alongs with the same people who are going to be up here. Definitely a huge shout-out to Levi for making all of this possible as well. Could not do this without him. But without further ado, in the frenemies battle, we said, man, that hit looked like it hurt, but whose fault is it? And you're not wrong with that. Ethan Hunter in 3rd place after the big accident that put a hole in his door. I hope both of you guys get the cars looking good again. Congrats, Ethan. Congrats, Jacob. Dude, one more time with Mike. Not many people can say they do that. Sick, dude. That is so sick. Ethan, you got anything else to say about that 3rd place finish?
Thanks, dude, for Levi and PPIR to let us come out and have some fun.
Awesome, solid. Now we've got the 1-2. We got to pan down here to these guys. I'm going to be announcing the winner of the competition. I'm actually going to need one of our other judges to come down here and help me announce this because it was so close. I don't even remember who we wrote in there. I need somebody else to come down here. So without further ado, a driver in a car that makes more power than most of the field. A driver in a very well set up car. We have in first place
Cressida Mike.
Cressida Mike with the win. Getting it once again. Thanks for your help from one of our judges here. Cressida Mike getting the W. And Daniel, second place in borrowed cars, man. I cannot believe it. Daniel over here hasn't driven his own car in quite a while, hopping into everything and anything. Hopped in 2 different cars today, trying to run a backup car that then broke in practice. Hopping into this thing, I assume, with very little practice. Kevin, your boy over there, who took second place in Pro-Am as well in this car, giving you full control, giving you the reins. He said, I let him put whatever tires he want on it, let him go out there and do his things. He had nothing but trust for you, dude. Is there anything you got to say for us?
I owe a ton of people for this. Thank everyone for all the help.
Sick, dude. Well, congratulations, Mike. You are our victor. Anything you got for us here?
Oh man, so much fun. The rain, that was super tough. I wish Daniel and I could have had a dry run because we have so much fun driving together. That was crazy, but had a blast.
An absolute sick one. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the live. We may have some more driving to do later today. If we are not out of time, but we are out of time, we may be packing it up in the rain and getting out of here. Please do check in with us at CNS for the next round so we can all battle this again and get some more Group B battles going. Thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream. We'll catch you next time.